Like most companies during this unprecedented time, Vicon has been operating remotely to attend to our customers' needs. The health and safety of our employees and customers are our number one priority. The process has been seamless as our employees work from home and conduct online meetings, product demos, and facilitate routine business activities. Let's get up close and personal with some of our team members and learn how they're being productive working from home.
You know what? I'm pretty proud of those guys and what they did. I mean, they really took it to the nth degree. Quite frankly, I was a little bit surprised, but I think that the response was definitely in line with what we would have expected, of a managing more organization like that, like Vicon has. And of course, they made it almost as seamless as possible. So, I mean, we still can do what we need to do. But it was good response, very good response. Try to limit your distractions. Have a place to go. Have a schedule. And try to make sure that everybody is on the same page as far as those distractions go. I've been working from home my whole work life with Vicon, so I mean, this was an easy transition. Of course, they knew that if something needed to be done, I could be disturbed. And of course, most of the people I'm dealing with, they understand we have a family, we got people at home. So, I mean, they understand if somebody has to come in and ask me a question or something like that, which, it hadn't been that bad. I am on a different level from where the rest of the family is, so it makes it a little bit easier. I mean, I am a destination, but unfortunately, it's a popular destination. So, well, of course, the typical day, of course, even when I'm traveling, I like to go and walk in the morning, take a long walk in the morning. So, I mean, I haven't stopped that. Of course, I walk in the neighborhood, and now I get to go and visit with some of my neighbors to do the same thing at the same time in the morning. And then I come in and typically, 7:30, 8 o'clock, start, answering emails. Well, actually, I start answering emails probably about 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning because that's when people start pinging me on this thing. But, I go and do my follow-ups, 7:30, 8 o'clock. One thing I have been doing here is, meal times, I don't eat in the office. I go downstairs, so I give myself a break, and then come back up and start all over again. Of course, if somebody needs something to respond to me or something like that, even if I'm downstairs, I take my phone with me, and I'll answer I'll respond to what they need. But, that really has not changed. I mean, that's the way it always has been. The only difference is, of course, is, before, if things got a little bit too testy, I say, well, I'm going out of town or I'm leaving someplace, you can't run away now. So that's a little bit of an issue. Nice thing, our weather has been fantastic during this whole thing. So, I mean, it's no problem to go outside, go in the backyard, go into my neighbor's yard, if need be to get something done. And of course, they understand that too. They're gauging of when this thing is going to end or something like that. Is they always come to me and say, well, Mike, when are you going to start traveling again? Because they knew I was always on the road. So I said, when are you going to start traveling again? We know it's okay when you start traveling again. It's a destination. It's one of the bedrooms that we have upstairs. I have a door. Of course, the bathroom is close by. So I don't have to go anywhere else. And, of course, I have really, it's always been all I need is a cell phone and a laptop to do what I needed to do. And that hadn't changed. Of course, now that I don't have to move my laptop around, of course, I got all my monitors set up the way I want to. I have it so that I can stream my video channels in here so that if I wanted to watch something, the biggest issue that I've got right now is there's no sports to watch. Typically sports is a distraction or it's noise, that you don't have to pay a lot of attention to. And, you don't have any of that stuff. And tell you the truth, these, replays of all these old games and stuff like that just don't cut it. I like the live stuff, but I don't know what's going to happen. It's a little bit, it is different. Before when I would call up somebody, I would say, well, when can I come and see you? Making a face-to-face meeting, and we know that we can do something face-to-face, and it takes care of a lot of issues when you can do it face-to-face. Now we have to do this thing either, through a Zoom meeting or on the phone. It's a little, right now it's not as bad as it really could be because, they're not starting a lot of new stuff. Because the new stuff is not coming in the doors right now. But I feel that that's going to change probably within the next 30 days. There's going to be a pent-up demand that they're going to do something else. But, that's the only difference. Before, if we had a big issue, I say, I'm coming to see you. Because typically, you get things done a lot faster when something like that happens. But, of course, a lot of emails, and of course, my inside guy, Rich, and I talk, 2 or 3 times a day. Of course, I can't get started in the morning without, finding out what we need to do, what's going on with that stuff. And of course, everybody else has been a lot more responsive too. I've talked during this time, I've talked to Kenny in technical support a lot more than I have in the last couple of years. Because, and especially, Mike and Danny and all those guys over there. So, they've been extremely responsive too. So a lot more telephone calls for them. And before we used to get it done with a email, but now, I see more phone calls coming my way, which is not a bad thing. I like that. My favorite part of working from home? Well, number one, I don't have to waste time traveling. It's and I don't have to go anywhere, and I don't have it, to schedule myself so that, I got to be here, in 3 hours and stuff like that. That type of stress has gone away. No traffic. Traffic is really good. So I haven't been out much. I don't make a lot of, I'm sort of homebound more or less. But when I have had to go somewhere, of course, the traffic around here is just nothing. So that's a good thing on this thing. Challenging, it's hard to sell capital systems over the phone. That is a little bit of a challenge. Getting all their questions, answers, and things like that. Of course, because of the reputation that we have, it just takes a little bit more talking to get it done. But that's the biggest challenge on this thing. And of course, everybody is in the same boat. So everybody is leaning over backwards to try to understand each other. So that's a little bit good too. But, that's really my only main challenge in this thing. Nothing else has really, changed. Of course, walking quite a bit. I like to read, and I have been reading real books. Books with pages. I decided I'm not going to do the electronic stuff anymore. I like to hold a book and stuff like that. And typically, right now, I start like 2 or 3 books at the same time. So at different times of the day or different break times, I read different things. Some of it's fiction, some of it's politics. I have a 91-year-old mother-in-law that, of course, is a Wisconsin assisted living facility, and we can't see her. And the only way I get to see her is, I have to wave at her at the doors, in the back. But she likes to read, so we'll find a book for her. She'll read it, and she'll tell me if I should read it or not. So, I mean, we're enjoying doing that on this thing. And of course, she's a little bit more involved in a lot of the political stuff than I am. But well, you know what? Nice thing about it is, I mean, we sit on the porch and all of our neighbors are sitting on the porch. So, I mean, we're talking to each other in the neighborhood and stuff like that, that way. Of course, we'll take walks, and of course, we'll talk to all the people that are on the porches and some of the other, on some of the other blocks and things like that. Mainly that's it. We haven't, of course, the restaurants over here have just opened up, but of course, the limiting seating inside. But you can't sit on the porch and stuff like that. But we haven't been to any restaurants. We're still doing our takeout thing and cooking. My wife is trying to teach my 19-year-old how to cook. So she's been cooking some of the meals, and I mean, some of the stuff has been really good. I think she's getting the hang of it. So that's rather fun.